自然に沿った
自然のを
自然のままの食品。
自然に沿った
自然 The ancient Japanese secret of Shizen that extend life by 10 years. That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya, a 63-year-old biohacker based on Japanese natural health and the author of Ikigai Biohacking. What do you think is the secret to Japanese longevity? Do you think it is the diet, like washoku, or the martial art practice, or healing art practice like Zentai, or Japanese spirituality such as Zen? Well, each of one is a part of the secret, but one principle is underlying in all those practices. That is Japanese natural health. And the core of Japanese natural health philosophy is Shizen. So today, I'd like to share with you this ancient Japanese concept of Shizen. So first, I will share with you what is Shizen, and then Shugendo, which is the mountainous Japanese spiritual practice, and Shizen, and how Shizen is expressed in the Japanese diet, and how Shizen is expressed in Japanese martial arts, and do the centenarians live by Shizen? And finally, how Shizen is expressed in Japanese life in general is not necessarily spirituality, but ordinary people's lives. So please watch the video until the end. For those of you who just discovered this video today, this is the Ikigai Diet channel, which is about how to increase health span for people over 50 or 60. I am the author of 4 books. I usually cover things like diet, exercise, mindset, and anything else that is related to increasing health span. So if you're over 50 or 60 and interested in health span extension, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you. What is Shizen? Shizen means nature. So the forest is part of Shizen, the sea is part of Shizen, the river is part of Shizen. Also, Shizen can be an adjective meaning natural. Usually, as an adjective, we say shizenna. For example, if you say natural farming, you can say shizenna no ho. But you can use the noun as an adjective too. For example, you can say shizen no. No also means farming. So you can say shizen no ho or shizen no. If it's like one word, you can connect with the noun version of shizen and the meaning becomes natural. And for food, you can say shizen shoku, which means natural food. Again, you can say shizen tabemono. Tabemono also means food. But if you say shoku, you can say shizen shoku. But you don't say shizen tabemono. If you use tabemono, you have to have a na. So shizen na tabemono. And then shizen iryo. Iryo means medicine, so it means natural medicine. Here you can say shizen na iryo or shizen iryo. Both are okay. And Shizenha that I often talk about, Ikigai Biohacking's another name is Shizenha Biohacking because it is based on the lifestyle of Shizenha people, meaning they are naturalists. The naturalist people are Shizenha people. And our spirituality is so related to Shizen. Quite often, you find this Shinto torii gate by the ocean, or halfway up the mountain or the top of the mountain. Often, the top of the mountain, you find a small shrine, and in the village, near the foot of the mountain, there is the main shrine. And those two are often connected because the top of the mountain is considered to be the object of worship in that region. So quite often, from the village shrine to the mountain top, some people have a pilgrimage trip once a year and so on. Why the mountain? To understand this, we need to talk about Shugendo and Shizen. Shugendo is a Japanese mountaineous spiritual practice. Now, if you have been to Japan, I'm sure you have seen Shinto shrine and Buddhist temples. So both Shintoism and Buddhism are two major religions in Japan. And Shugendo is not so well known. However, Shugendo in some way is the core of Japanese spirituality, and they are the one who connected Shintoism and Buddhism. You have probably seen this. This is called Takigyo. You kind of meditate under the waterfall. It's a part of Shugendo training. By the way, this is me. I tried doing it once, and it was very intense, actually. The pressure from the waterfall was so strong that I kind of stayed there for about 1 minute or so. So it was very cold. It was very cold too, but I found the pressure more difficult than the coldness of the water itself. But anyway, so in the Kinki region or the Kansai region in Japan, there are many Shugendo spots, such as Kumano Kodo, Koyasan, and Ominesan. If you have been to Japan, you may have heard of Kumano Kodo, and some of you may have taken a hike at Kumano Kodo. It's a very popular tourist spot, and Koyasan as well. And there are some temples, and you can experience meditation at Koyasan. All those three locations are related to Shugendo practice. And at the moment, Omine-san, which means Mount Omine, is the Mecca of Shugendo. And I don't know about other parts of Japan, but in the Kinki region, Omine-san is very significant because each village, like even in my village, usually one person or some group of people are sent by the village to Omine-san to undergo a training there. And that is called Gyoja-ko. And we have a Ise-ko, which means to go to Ise Shrine, which is the main Shinto shrine in Japan. So once a year, we need to visit Ise Shrine. In the same way, a representative of the community go to Omine-san to take part in their training. So it plays a very important role in a local community in the Kinki region. And you know about ninja, right? There are two main ninja groups in Japan, and one is called Iga Ninja, and then the other one is Koga Ninja. So they're both located in the Kinki region, close to Omine-san. And in fact, Shugendo practitioners are considered to be the forerunners of ninja because they often share the training ground. Like in Koga, for example, there's a mountain that I've been to once, and that was the training ground of Shugendo, but ninja also trains there. And have you seen Princess Mononoke? And there was a character called Jikobo. Towards the end of the movie, there was a fighting scene between them and Ashtaka. They're very fast. They performed martial arts skill. So I think their model was Shugendo practitioners. But anyway, so Shugendo practitioners trained in the mountains. And in Japan, the mountains equal Shizen because 70% of our land is mountains. So whenever we talk about Shizen or, going to the earth, going to the forest, we're talking about going to the mountains. So mountains equal Shizen. And Shugendo practitioners are the bridge between the mountains and the village. So, once a year, I represent from the village go to the mountain to meet the Shugendo practitioner and gain certain, knowledge and wisdom and so on. So in many ways, Shizen is sacred in Japan. And Shizen ni sotte ikiru, which means living in harmony with nature, is the core of Japanese value. Okay, how Shizen is expressed in the Japanese diet. Washoku was registered as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage, and there were 4 points for it. And one of them was an expression of natural beauty and the changing seasons. Expressing the beauty of nature and seasonal changes at the dinner table is also one of the attractive features of washoku. Washoku makes people enjoy the seasonality by decorating the dishes with seasonal flowers or leaves, and also by using implements and plates that match the season. And we have this concept called Shindo Fuji that I often talk about. This is based on Shojin Ryori that I call Zen Shojin diet because it was practiced among Zen monasteries. Shindo Fuji basically means eating locally and seasonally, or living locally and seasonally. So when we eat vegetable, we try to eat vegetables in season, not out of season, and we try to eat local vegetables. Therefore, circadian rhythm is very important in Japan. We live according to this rhythm. So circadian rhythm, monthly rhythm, and circannual rhythms are all important. We have these divisions of the season called Niju Shiseki, which means the 24 solar terms in English. So we divide each season by 6. Therefore, there are 24 segments in each year. So this one, for example, Shunbun, which means spring equinox. So equinoxes and solstices are important, but there are other small segments. For example, usually spring equinox is considered to be the beginning of the spring. But about a month before, there was actual beginning of the spring that is called Rishun. And so the Rishun is officially the new year because it's the beginning of the spring. And then the day before is called Setsubun, which is the end of the winter. So it is called the New Year's Eve. And we have a special celebration of those two occasions. And we often eat tofu because soybeans are considered to be lucky eating on those two occasions. And then this picture here is Jugoya celebration, which is in autumn. We have a moon viewing event and we eat tsukimi dango, which means moon viewing dango. Dango is a kind of Japanese sweet. So we do have a lot of food representing each season. Another concept important in the Japanese diet and Zen Shojin diet is Ichibutsu Zentai Shoku, which means eating food as a whole. So instead of eating white rice, you eat brown rice. It's a whole food. Or you eat whole wheat. Or when you eat a vegetable, you eat the skin as well. And when you eat fish, you try to eat small fish because you can eat the whole fish instead of eating a part of a big fish. And therefore, sashimi is very popular in Japan, but traditionally, it was considered better to eat smaller fish like those because you can eat the whole fish. And this was done to pay respect to life. So if you're taking one's life, you might as well eat the whole thing to pay respect. If you're eating only part of it and throwing away the rest, you're not appreciating that life and you're not respecting that life. And also, eating small fish turned out to be healthier. Dr. Shoji Kondo, whom I also often talk about, so he is the author of Long-Lived Villages and Short-Lived Villages in Japan. So he spent about 36 years traveling around Japan, visiting over 990 villages and towns, and he discovered many long-lived villages and short-lived villages. So he compared the two, trying to figure out what made people live longer in the long-lived villages and what made people live shorter in the short-lived villages. And one of the secret was that people in the long-lived villages were eating small fish like those. Another concept is Hanahachibume. You may have heard of this because this was popularized by Dan Buettner as one of the secrets to longevity in Okinawa, but It is throughout Japan. This is a Japanese concept, not unique to Okinawa. And the correct way to say this is hara hachibunme, not hara hachibu. I hear many people saying this hara hachibu, which is not a mistake. I mean, it is okay to say that because some people say it, but it's more like a slang. Officially, in Japanese, hara hachibunme is the correct way of saying it, and it is more common. It means to stop eating when you are 80% full. But it means more than that. It basically means don't eat when you are not hungry. Always listen to your body. And if you feel you're hungry, then you eat. But if you don't feel hungry, you don't eat. Very simple. You basically trust your body, you trust the nature, you live according to the natural rhythm. But today, in the health and longevity field, many people are fixated upon nutritional amount, like RDA. How much protein do you need per day? How much calcium do you need? How much vitamin something do you need? And so on. It's all up in the head. You're not listening to your body. You're not feeling the nature. So hara hachibume tells us to trust your instinct. Some people say, well, the body doesn't respond naturally these days because you're not living by Shizen, because your lifestyle is so artificial that your body lost innate senses you already had. So by living by Shizen, you can gain the innate sense and you can feel whatever you need for your body by just listening to your body. Okay, how is Shizen expressed in martial arts? So this is Aikido, and in Aikido, ki is very important. It is pronounced as ki in Japanese, but chi in Chinese. It is the central force in the nature. The best way to describe what ki is, the force in Star Wars, you know, the Jedi Knight's force. So that's the kind of best expression of what ki is all about. So it is the central force in nature, but it is in your body too. So if you move with ki, it is most natural and you are in the flow. So you need to learn how to use the ki and move with ki if you practice martial art. And that is the same with healing arts such as shiatsu and Zentai. So in Aikido, it is very important that you move with ki and don't rely on muscles. Now, I talked about this before that it is important in Japanese martial art or healing art to make your body flexible, not so tense. For details, please watch my other video. The actual title is The Ninja Way to Fitness, Flexibility over Muscle. Okay, so what about centenarians in Kyotango, whose vascular age is 10 years younger than that of the Japanese national average? And there are 3 times as many centenarians as the national average. So do they live by Shizen? Well, they eat Japanese diet, which is based on Shizen, and they work in their garden. They grow vegetable. That means they live by Shizen because they wake up early and they go to bed early. They live according to the circadian rhythm and they pay attention to the weather. They pay attention to the insects, the weeds, and everything. They live according to the natural rhythm. So in many ways, you can say that centenarians in Kyotango live by Shizen. And that is the same with the people in Okinawa, which is more well known as the land of longevity worldwide. Basically, it is common throughout Japanese countryside. So when you look at the lifestyle of the centenarians in Okinawa, when you look at what they do, that is very common with the lifestyle of most Japanese elderly in the rural part of Japan that I called Satoyama lifestyle. The bottom line is they live by Shizen, they live in harmony with nature. And that is the key to longevity among Japanese centenarians, and therefore the key to extending life by 10 years. Okay, so how Shizen is expressed in Japanese life in general, not necessarily in the Japanese diet or the martial art, which are based on Japanese spirituality, the life of regular people. Well, not many people practice martial art anymore, and not many people eat the traditional Japanese diet anymore. However, one thing that many Japanese people still do is living according to the season. Well, not many people practice Niju Shiseki, but some of the event within this seasonal change people practice. For example, Setsubun. A lot of people celebrate Setsubun, not so much Rishun, but Setsubun is very common. And then Jugoya is still common among some people, especially in the countryside, not so much in the city though. So I would say half of the people in Japan still live according to those seasonal changes, but half of the population don't practice it anymore. And many of us still live according to the circadian rhythm. For example, we have a bath at night. This is Japanese custom. And having a bath at night is good. According to Andrew Huberman, doing heat exposure at night can align yourself with a circadian clock. And doing cold exposure in the morning is good too. But in the West, you take a hot shower in the morning and you don't take a bath at night. So it's kind of the opposite. In Japan, people don't do cold exposure in the morning, but at least we still practice heat exposure at night. And this is a common activity among most Japanese people. Whether you live in the countryside or the city, most people have a bath at night. And also, we don't use the central heating. I mean, even in the cities, I think most households do not have a central heating. They have an air conditioner though, but air conditioner only warms up one room, not the entire house. So once you go out of your room and go to the corridor, it is very cold in winter. So we still experience like a warm room and cold room in the winter time. When you go outside, it's even colder. So this is the life in winter. Our body is supposed to be in that kind of environment. That's what it means to live according to the circadian rhythm. But if you have a central heating and the entire house is warm and you probably have the same temperature throughout the year, then you don't feel the season so much. Your body is adjusting into a different kind of rhythm, which doesn't align with the circadian rhythm. In fact, domestic life in Japan is surprisingly low tech. You think Japan is a high-tech country? Well, in many ways it is, but our actual gadgets and things, household gadgets are pretty low tech. For example, dishwasher, which is everywhere in the West, not many households have a dishwasher. Even the dryer is not as common as it is in the West. Many people dry clothes outside under the sun. That means we have to live by the natural rhythm. We need to pay attention to the weather, whether it's sunny or raining. And also drying your clothes under the sun is very good. Sun drying is always better than machine drying for anything. That is why I prefer jogging outdoor to working out in the gym, because you feel the nature, you feel the wind, you can listen to the bird. Your workout may be the same. For example, you practice zone 2 jogging for 45 minutes, and if you do that on the treadmill, maybe the cardiovascular benefit is the same. But your experience is completely different because when you jog outdoor, you have this Shizen benefit. So, 自然に沿って生きる living in harmony with nature is the key. Okay, so to sum up, practice Shindo Fuji, living locally and seasonally. and Ichibutsu Zentai Shoku, eat whole food, and key over muscles, live by circadian, circa monthly, and circa annual rhythm as much as possible. Now, you can always mark the new moon and full moon on your calendar and pay attention to the lunar cycle as well. And that is not so difficult. You can do that in the West as well. And practice gardening if possible. And have a bath at night if possible. Or you can even take a hot shower or have a sauna if that is possible. And limit your technology use. This is very important because this probably is the worst enemy we have today. Our society is getting technology centered more and more, and we are losing a lot of important innate senses we have. So if one thing you can learn from this video is to limit your technology usage and live by Shizen as much as possible. If you want to know more details about why Shizen is so important in Ikigai Biohacking, please read Ikigai Biohacking. And in the next video, I'll share with you the mentality of Shizen, how Japanese people practice Shizen in our mindset. Okay, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya, the author of Ikigai Biohacking. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. How much Shizen do you live by? And I talked about the video about flexibility over muscles. If you're interested, this is the video.